Double your business with 7 foundational systems. Just hang on to that thought. It's not as hard as you think. It really isn't. Okay, Miss Angel, we're going to show our respect to everyone who showed up here on time. So why don't you start for me, please, and then we'll swing into the webinar.
Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Double Your Business with 7 Foundational Systems with VP of MAPS, Monica Reynolds. Please note this webinar is being recorded and will be available within 24 hours after this webinar has ended on the MAPS Group YouTube channel. You may find the link to the YouTube channel in your Zoom confirmation email, and we will also drop it in the chat momentarily. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the chat box located at the taskbar at the bottom of your screen. Following the webinar, if you have questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me, Monica. Take it away.
Okay, and put yourself on mute if you don't mind. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's call. So I've been in real estate about 40 years, and there's no way that I'm going to say to you that I have all the perfect answers. However, I'm going to say to you that I've coached more people than probably anyone in the United States in real estate. And so with that said, being a coach for 25 years, I really have a pretty good handle on what it takes to double your business with 7 foundational systems. Stephanie, let's go to the next page, okay? So when you look at this, ultimately, when you look at the MREA book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent by the great Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, you're thinking of a 7th level team sometimes. And what does that look like? I built a 7th level team where the rainmaker was never in the building, never came into the office. And Stephanie on this call was my assistant then also, and made $1 million a year. How did he do that? How does that happen? Well, we're going to talk about the systems to put that into place. Let's go to system number 1. So while I'm starting this, it's going to be a fast-paced 30 minutes. And so you'll get a copy of this webinar. You'll get a copy of the screens. Now, let me share something with you. You may go check, got that, got that, got that. What I want you to do is rate yourself against these systems as we go through. I'm going to give you the largest comprehensive ones where you double your business. And so the first thing that you have to look at, obviously, is number 1, is you have to have a communication system that makes sense between you, the client, your assistants. Assistants, team members leave because of a communication challenge. That's usually the number 1 reason in divorce also, just thinking about that. So I'm going to share with you a Friday report, a communication log, monthly meeting, goal, and business plan. You must communicate those things, especially with October coming up. How do you rate yourself on a Friday report? Is your assistant giving you a report every single day, or excuse me, at the end of the week, what they did? Let's go to the next screen, Stephanie, so I can show this. So look at this and start to grade yourself. And so when you're thinking about this and you go, well, we do that, we do that, we do that. Great. You're on the right track then. And so Friday administrative employee report. Every Friday, I would have my admin give me a report at 10 o'clock on Friday, which was 5 things that they accomplished to move the business forward. Week high, week low, and also most importantly, what did you do to wow a customer? That kept us all on track. Could you do that for a buyer agent? Yes, they're not an employee, but you can ask them to do that for you, okay? Communication log. Every single file should have a communication log of how often that client was called, what was said on that call, paraphrase. You don't need to write the whole thing out. However, documentation is absolutely critical. Okay, next slide, Stephanie. So team meetings are critical. Whether you have 1 assistant and yourself, you have a team meeting. You have a monthly meeting. You have a year-end business planning meeting, and all the top producers are doing that in October. The reason is you want to gear up now. And when you look at the calendar next year, January through November, it's a 10-month year. And if you act like it's a 10-month year, to do the activities a 10-month year, then you're going to reach your goals. Because Reg, the real estate god, he says that in November and December, you may list things, you may sell things, and they may not close this year. But we know if they're listed and sold in October, pending in October, you're probably going to get paid. There's a really good chance. Weekly meetings, same time each week, no more than 30 minutes. How do you rate with that? You must have an agenda that's very clear, very in sync with what's going on in market of the moment. You know, if there's any gaps in the numbers, number update, Attendance is mandatory, but not with an independent contractor. It's highly suggested for the success of the team. You can't use the word mandatory with an independent contractor. Make it valuable. Come with a coaching tip. Come with something about the market. Come with some of the statistics of what's happening. Come with a new letter that you're going to use on it, just listed or just sold. Bring something of value to every single meeting. Monthly meetings, you know, we always had a 3-ring binder, and I know old school 3-ring binder when everybody's paperless, but it sure made it easy for us to really look at our monthly goals, what our yearly goals were. Everything was tabbed out. It was simple and it was a precise system because it's absolutely accountability of each month marching forward. That's how you think big. And a year-end planning meeting, you know, make a note here. If you go to mapscoaching.com, you will see that there is or KW Maps, you will see that there is a business planning, business planning clinic, business planning mastermind. We've got 2 famous authors, Liz Wiseman, who wrote Multipliers, and the second author is Katie Milkman. She wrote How to Change. Those best-selling authors will be live in on those calls. So that's October 6th and 7th. If you're not a mastery client, it's $49 for those 2 days of building your business plan and getting the entire process done. Okay, next slide, Stephanie. So let's talk about a hiring system. You can't double your business unless you have the right people. I mean, you can, but you're not building the systems that are duplicatable and scalable to sustain growing. So I appreciate one agent, no assistant. I appreciate what they can do and how far they can go, but there is a wall. There is a wall you will meet. And that's okay if that's your business. Yet the hiring process of really learning who you are and what you're good at. I'm a great salesperson. I'm not great at details. I'm not great at crossing the T's, dotting the I's. And yet I know that I can find powerful people to complement and to be on the same page that I am. So for building a business. And so a hiring system, we have the wonderful KPA, and every market center has them. Just ask for it, get yours, and never hire anyone that hasn't provided you one or gone through the process. And of course, I love the DISC, the driver, the expressive, and the S being the amiable, and the C being the analytical. I love to figure out people and then ask them who they are as I'm interviewing them. I never interview anyone without calling them for about a 10-minute conversation to make sure that they have a clear speaking voice, that they can represent me, they have a little energy over the phone. And I ask them very simple questions. Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt your day. Do you have 2 minutes? I'd just like to introduce myself. Thank you for your resume. Based on their answers and how they answer, I'm bringing them in I'm going to then say, please do the KPA and the DISC. Can you get it back to me by Friday at 5 o'clock? They do, it's great. There's a whole hiring system that you have to have in place that you don't deviate from. Career visioning is an excellent place to start. And of course, the systems that I have, you know, before career visioning absolutely complement. So next slide, Stephanie. When you have a hiring system, by the way, you document all those things. So career visioning, having that first phone call. Now, if I ask them on that first phone call, you know, describe the perfect job for you. And they go, I got to think about that. You know, I want someone to think on their feet and represent me. Great. So that's why I do that first interview. All right. Then if I didn't like their answers or how they came across the phone, I say, we'll get back to you, which was our first step in introducing ourselves. And I circle back later and send them the email, call them and say, thank you so much. The position was filled. Hey, what about listings? It's the foundation of your business. Know that triangle, leads, listing, and leverage? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So you must have a pre-list package. They're on command. And also in the Perfect Real Estate Assistant training, we go through these things really in depth and we give it right and the wrong.
All right,
really
over here.
Michelle,
Select one.
Michelle, please. Stephanie, thank you. All right, bulletproof your checklist. And so when you have a checklist, whether you're digital or your paper, it must be detailed. Listings are easy, they're fun to process because there's a very precise system. Very little can go wrong. It is people in real estate, I get that. Pass the baton. I'm going to share with that in the showing form coming up. And of course, we're into price improvements now. So how do you check yourself off on this? Do you have a bulletproof checklist on a 1 to 10? Do you have a showing form where you're getting the feedback? Stop using Zillow and Showing Desk out, whatever that thing is, because all they're doing is collecting all your data and information because of their building their real estate company. Next page, Stephanie. Okay, so pass the baton. I teach in the Perfect Real Estate System a form that you absolutely can give that information in 2 minutes and 46 seconds to your assistant. So when they make the phone call and make that connection, they know if the people are happy or sad they're selling. Has there been a death in the family? Is there a divorce? Is it a change? Are they excited? Is it, I mean, what's going on is how the tonality comes across the call. If somebody got a big promotion, they're moving to Chicago, it's a different call than someone's spouse that just died. Different call, okay? Kids and pets. Sometimes people have a dog. I'll never forget Tank, 250-pound Rottweiler. That was their kid. He had dog TV, he had a couch, and he had his own bedroom. Customer services, when an assistant says, are there any pets on the premise? Customer experience says, oh my gosh, I heard about your family member, Tank. He sounds like such a cool guy. I'd love to meet that guy. Is he watching TV right now? See the connection? See the connection? And I teach in this class that this person is paying on a listing 6 or 7% of the value of their home. Whether you get it all or not, they have signed a contract to give away that amount of money and they go give away. And so I really instill in the assistant during training that this is a critical process. You've got to know the motivation. You've got to know a little bit about their life. And then obviously the personality styles are critical. And I go through a couple of calls on determining personality. You never call a driver like me and say, how's your day? I don't have time and it's none of your business is what a driver would say, right? So you say to a driver, Monica, I know you're super busy. Do you have 2 minutes? I have 2 questions for you. They go, sure. What is it? You know, and that's it. We move on. The first call checklist, the assistant calls within 1 hour of taking the listing, obviously.
Hi, Sharon. How are you doing?
Sixers. Chelsea, can we get you to put yourself on mute? Thank you. So first, the assistant's first call checklist.
Yes, he did tell me that.
Chelsea, get off the call. Let's out. Thank you. You can't do business and be on this call. Chelsea, let's mute her, please.
We found the answer to what he was asking.
Stephanie, mute Chelsea King. Chelsea King gets muted. Chelsea King gets muted. Thank you. Sorry, everybody. There's always one. Okay. All right. Assistant's first call checklist. And it's because they're busy and they're trying to do too many things. Pay attention. How are you, Chelsea, on your call within 1 hour? How are you, everyone, on this call, you know, within 1 hour? What are you guys doing? And so obviously, if the listing is taken at 7 o'clock, you're not going to call that person. So the agent is trained to say, and the training that I do is, by the way, thanks for signing the listing. The next person to talk to you will be my great assistant, Chelsea. And Chelsea will be calling you first thing in the morning. Because it's after 3 o'clock, the agent knows not to say that till the next day. So those are the systems. Do you have a system where your assistant follows a checklist about all the things? Here's what's going to happen next. Do they have an introductory script? Do they have a script at the end that says, by the way, thanks for working with our team. We so appreciate the business. Is there anything else we can do to help your day? No, that's the Disneyland close. Is your assistant to train during the process to ask at least 4 times? May I ask you a favor? Our business is based on reviews, are based on referrals from great people like you. Do you know anyone right now who we can help? Or if it's based on a review, learning when to strike when somebody says something nice. Oh my gosh, thanks for pointing that out. We so appreciate you. May I ask you a favor? Our business is based on reviews. May I send you a link and could you give us a 5-star review and mention our team? We so appreciate that. How is your assistant at building that bridge of trust and building that bridge of rapport? Okay, showing feedback. Okay, we're gonna go a little faster here. Under no circumstance should you be using Outdesk, Showing Desk, whatever that thing is that I've never believed in them. I think the rapport is built when an assistant will call. Thank you so much for showing 123 Cherry Street. Do you have 2 minutes? Great. Okay, this was the property that you showed yesterday at 3 o'clock. Are your buyers going to write an offer? What would it take for your buyers to write an offer? And we value your opinion. How much will the property sell for? Now, there's 3 motivations there. One is get the feedback and give it directly to the seller. They're going to be honest here versus filling out something over the internet. Number 2, is this a member for your team? Number 3, is this a member for Keller Williams, possibly? Might be somebody that wants to join Keller Williams. So you've got all kinds of possibilities there. You just have to look at those. Okay, next slide, Stephanie. System number 4, how do you rate yourself on closings? Are you getting a review and are you getting a referral on every single closing? If not, why aren't you asking them? Why aren't you, don't you have the promise? There are agents who get a referral and a review out of every single client that they work with. And it's about the culture. It's about the training that you and your team have. It's about the vision. It's about the big picture and being very, very successful with building that bridge of trust and communication. Okay, closing system. Got to have a bulletproof checklist. There is not a checklist that I say is too long when it comes to taking care of people and their money. They will only hear 25% of what you said, a seller and a buyer, because they are on, oh my gosh, what have I done mode, right? Pass the baton is critical, especially the listing manager to a TC if your team is that big, or a buyer agent to the assistant. You've got to have that conversation. You've got to set that assistant up for success. So how are you rating on your closing systems? Do you have letters? Do you have emails that are already built that explain different things that are going to happen? So for example, in our listing system, when we list a property, we give them a checklist to get ready for a home inspection. So right away, the first call is going to include, did you have an opportunity to get your home ready for the home inspection? That'll be one of the first things that we get done. And so it's a call every day. And some of you are going, whoa, what are you going to say? I got the scripts. And how often is that call being made? This is where the icing goes on the cake. This is the pièce de résistance. This is the very last thing that happens. And this is what they leave your team with. And sometimes things can go a little haywire, but if you over-communicate, and if you are constantly telling them what's happened along the way, it's real estate, it's people. It's real estate and it's people. Okay, so calling every day, reviews and referrals. How tight are your systems? How tight is your checklist? How tight are your thank you letters? How tight are your, here's what to do to get ready for the inspection? How tight is all of that? And more importantly too, after the close, what are you doing about contacting all the neighbors in the area that you successfully closed that property? Do you have a just sold letter? Do you have a just sold card, etc.? Okay, go to the next slide. So Stephanie, this one is the buyer agent pass the baton to a TC. So there's a very clear script of taking the client and the buyer agent, and they're having a conversation, whether it's a Zoom call or whether it's on speaker, passing that baton, making that a smooth transition. And again, why? Because we want repeat and referral business. We want repeat and referral business. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So we're going to set expectations. So I have a whole series of setting expectations to appraisals and appraisals that don't work, to repairs, to, you know, everything that can possibly happen, right? And so the home warranty people coming in and the home inspector, oh my gosh, the home inspector, what to expect out of that, not the home warranty. Obviously, some people don't use those. So setting expectations for closings and talking about the repairs and really getting it clear. Is your assistant trained to set up the agent, the client for repairs on the seller side? We're looking for structural defects. We're looking for health hazards. We're looking for code violations. Those are the critical ones that would have to be addressed. The rest we'll take as we get them. And it's the job of the home inspector to find something wrong with every single thing they can figure out in the house. That's just what they do. So don't be alarmed if pages come back like 42 pages. We'll work through it. So setting them up for that and setting it up properly. And right now, setting up possibly too for these appraisals are being a little bit challenging in some of the markets. Okay, we're rolling. System 5. How do you rate yourself on repeat and referral business? Next slide, Steph. So 35% of your business should come from repeat and referral business. So think about the systems that we've talked about before. Do you have a communication system? Do you have a hiring system? Do you have a listing? Do you have a pending system? Which one of those systems is not duplicatable and scalable to go from 50 transactions to 500, from 50 transactions to 2,000? Everything you do, even if you are closing 12 units this year, Everything you do should be duplicatable and scalable. Scalable is the word you need to hear. So when you build these foundational pieces and you say, that's perfect, that's perfect, that's perfect, then every quarter you go back and say, how do I make it better? How do I make it better? System number 5, repeat and referral business. I'm coming to your office today and I need you to break this out. I need 5 categories of referrals. What? I need 5 categories of referrals. Agent referral, team referral, which includes assistant, buyer agent, whoever, ISA, team referral, vendor referral, anybody that you're lining their pockets from the painter to the title to the lender. Are they giving you referrals? If not, why not? I've got scripts for that. Number 4, okay, past client. 5, center of influence. Center of influence is different than past client. What's the percentage of referral and repeat business are you getting out of your past clients? What is that out of your center of influence? Who are your top 25 clients? What are you doing to make the connection constant with them? As far as call them once a month, check in, take them out to lunch once or twice a year, check in with them. Who's giving you referrals? This is a critical piece of what you want to do. Critical piece. Okay, I got muted. Sorry about that. Okay, so how do you rate yourself on a system on this one? Repeat and referral business is critical to the success of your business. Nothing more fun than having the phone ring and say, you guys are so great. We'd love to list our house with you again. You know, we're on the move, or we need a bigger house. We want to talk to you. That's the best. All right, let's go to the next one. Database, number 6. How do you rate your database? Do you have 1,000, 5,000, 10,000? Whatever number you have, double it. And how do you get there? And you should have at least 5,000 in my opinion, and Gary Keller's too. If you have 5,000, 10% in that database should be doing something every year. There's 500 people that you should have some sort of relationship that's going to give you a lead, going to give you a buyer or a seller, maybe a lead you have to nurture. Maybe they're going to do something. So remember the 10% rule. Now, a database has to have, in my opinion, and I know you'll agree, completes name, address, phone number, and email. Now, pay attention to this. If you're listening, this is something you're not going to be thinking about sometimes. And I tell everybody I know, I would love for you to create a field. And hopefully you're using command, create a field and put a $sign on it. And every time that person sells their house or gives you a referral, you add that to the $sign. So I just sold Joe Johnson's house. I made $8,000 commission. He gets divorced 2 years later. I sell that house. I sell him a house. I sell his wife a house. He's now worth $32,000. Oh, his brother came to town, bought a little condo and made $4,000. Now he's worth $36,000. So if you look at the future and you know that you could pull up by $signs, all your top referrals, all your top people that you have connections with, you talk differently when somebody rings the phone and you go, oh, there's $32,000 right there. Hey, Jim, how are you doing? You know, it's a totally different call. Be smart about your database. Have a marketing plan, have a video plan going out. You know, how do you rate yourself on this? Do you have a consistent Facebook ads? They work great through command. So many people have done so well with that. What are you using the opportunities pipeline, keeping track? So when somebody says they might be doing something, it should go right into opportunities so that you can nurture that. Okay, how do you rate yourself on system 6? Let's go to 7. Okay, all right, let me go to the next slide, which is tracking the growth of your database. So Gary says you should increase your database by 3 every single day. Name, address, phone number, and email. Okay, organize your database like I said before. Agent, team, vendor, sphere of influence, and past client. What percentage comes from your database? It should be 35% when you add up those 5 categories, but break them out. How you doing in the past client world? How you doing in the agent world? Have your vendors supported you even though you support them? Okay, next slide, you'll see the opportunities pipeline in command. I think this is my favorite thing in command. It's phenomenal. As you build a team, every buyer agent should put every lead in there, because if they leave you, you have all the leads and you don't have to scramble and try to figure out what do we give them, what do we not give them. This is absolutely sets you on a pace to track the money that's the possibilities. and where you are in that pipeline. Get to know that if nothing else. All right. System 7. Now, you're going to have a little bonus here. I'm going to go to number 8 because I couldn't help myself. You must have a very clear lead generation system for growth on how you find business. You know, what is the quarterly return of investment on that? Someone should be tracking that. So I have all the tracking systems in the Perfect Real Estate System, the ROIs and tracking, for example, sources of business and where those all came from and how much was spent to get that lead. What did that lead cost? What exactly does one lead cost in any of the systems that you're paying for? And market of the moment, understanding the stats and where the market is right now. So right now, it looks like in a lot of markets that luxury has really, really, really slowed down. And yet that first-time home buyer in a lot of markets is really super fast paced. So where is the market of the moment, and understanding that so that you're lead generating into the activities that are going to cause growth and income. Schedule. You have to schedule lead generation, become what I call a purist. And when you build a team with a perfect real estate assistant, then you are allowed to do what I call the purist, which is you lead generate in the morning and you lead follow-up. Nothing else gets in your way because you have an assistant who's a secret weapon who is absolutely taking care of that part of the business for you. And of course, lead generation system, a budget. You got a budget for these activities and you got to always be monitoring what's the return of investment. Too many times agents will forget with a credit card and the payment just keeps going and you're not paying attention to it. Got to pay attention to it. All right. So if you go to the next slide, but what are your 5 sources of business? Gary Keller and I are on the same page. I've always talked about this. Get your 5 sources of business, work those really hard. You're going to have other ones, but you want to work those 5 sources. Non-owner occupied is one of my favorites. Also, I did probates, which is not on there. Well, there it is. Probates is on there. Past client center of influence. Those 2 are always there. Expires and FSBOs fluctuate. And then on my team, it was non-owner occupied, probate, and open houses, believe it or not. We were strong, strong, strong. We would have 2 to 3 open houses at 2 or 3 different houses every single week. We were strong being out there at open houses. Let's go to system number 8. So how are you guys doing on a 1 to 10? What's the biggest thing that you've learned? I'm going to open it up for questions here in just a second. But think about, where do you need to look at this? So when you look at these systems, this is how you grow your business. This is how you scale it. You build the system right the first time. Go back and analyze your listing system. Go back and analyze your closing system. What are you not doing? Maybe there's a client appreciation party. Maybe there's some sort of other marketing that happens after they've moved. What are you doing? What are you not doing that would make those systems more successful? So tracking numbers. Well, here we go. Now, this to me is one of the most important things to grow your business, because once you understand your numbers, you go to the next level. So daily numbers, how many contacts does it take you to get to a listing appointment? How many buyer broker agreements are signed before a buyer contract is fulfilled? Okay, how about listings taken? Right now, most listings are all selling, so it's not 80%, it's usually 100% that sell. Pending buyers, pending sellers, did you have one of those today or 2 of those today? And of course, price reduction, price improvements. Those are the numbers that need to be tracked daily. Why? Because 1, it keeps you accountable for your goals. You do not want to bury your head in the sand. Number 2, you're going to know too, that are you doing the activities to support your goal? It always goes back to the activities. And I think around page 80 in the MREA book, you will hear about Gary talking about activities, the habits of a millionaire real estate agent. There's 9 of them, and they have the activities to support the goal. All right, market statistics are critical right now. If you haven't done it, do it now. You can use your KW app. You can put in your community, and there's a thing on the top bar that says more, and you hit more, and you can go down and filter, and you can find out how many price reductions have been in your market versus 6 months ago. So the Keller Williams app will do a lot of that for you. Sources of business, expenses, and P&L. So, a lot of you will probably not have an assistant, and this is a skill that will run a P&L for you, but they can collect all the bills. And hire a bookkeeper, $200 a month or something to put the P&L together. This is called big business. So if you see yourself doubling your business, go back and look at these foundational pieces. Where do these foundational pieces fit? So in the Perfect Real Estate Assistant class that is starting on October 13th, one of the things that I'm very, very clear about is that I go through each one of these systems with the whole guideline of here's how you build it the first time. There will always be tweaking. There will always be constant and never ending improvement. So my systems for the Perfect Real Estate Assistant, and Stephanie's been on this call with me for 12 years. She and I both know we change it up all the time. We're looking for the latest stats. We're looking for the latest things that people are doing. So it's constantly, we're improving that. So if you choose to do that, if you go to the next slide, Stephanie. So real quick, and then I'll answer some questions. If you choose to do that, you can go to mapscoaching.com/group. You can put Web 100 in to save $100 off. The calls are live. You get me, okay? There's 3 calls. They're 1 hour long. The first call every month is for the agent, teaching them to be a great boss, a great leader, and also how to set the right expectations with your assistant. Agents on this call, make that investment. Show your assistant that you want to build something magnificent. Remember, these systems are duplicatable and the word is scalable. So when you listen to me go through all of these systems, where you're saying we could work on that, we could improve that, we could do that. So coming to my call, I've got all the customer service letters, the emails, the scripts, the checklist. I've got the lead generation systems, the pre-list package expectation, how to set those up. I mean, they're all there and all the checklists, of course. That's my deal. I love the systems. So I've trained more assistants than anyone in the country. I know that if you join this class, you will get what you need to double your business. So, all right, let's go to some of the questions. Do we get all those things with the course? You get all that and more. There's a whole bunch more. I mean, when I do goal setting, you know, there's probably 35, 40 pages on that. If I'm doing something on listings, there's 3 hours of calls on that. And every single week you get 25 to 30 pages. You're building a policy and procedures manual. So at the end of the course in 6 months, you will get a policy and procedures manual. The first 3 calls are on communication. Then the next is job description and schedules. I give you the perfect one. And also I give you a job description and a business plan for an assistant, a business plan for a buyer agent, business plan for you, the agent, so that you each have your own business plans and the 411 examples, et cetera. So all that's given there too. Let's see if we have a cyberbacker as a VA. What is there something about, I lost the message now. What is the level of incremental value that this program would provide? You know, I love the cyberbackers and I know Craig Goodliff very well. We have 8 of them on staff at MAPS. What I think is valuable is that they will see the systems to set up. They are very good at setting those systems up. So if you rated yourself low in any of those systems, all that can be done easily virtually. All of those can be done virtually. Okay. All right. Other questions, Stephanie, that I didn't see, please?
Well, Tom Martin says that he will never forget the story regarding the gentleman who had moved out and lived with his pregnant girlfriend, and telling that story to his team really focused on the why you would want to do the pass the baton.
Okay, so everybody real quick, I tell this story, true story. When I sold real estate in Long Beach, California, I threw a file down, my hair was on fire. I said to my assistant, call them, they're ready, they got to get on the market, it's got to sell fast. And I literally flew out the door, and some would people say on my broom. So I flew out the door. My assistant calls Miss Happy-Go-Lucky Tori and says, hi, it's Tori with Monica Reynolds' office. We're so excited to help you, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for working with us. All high elevated. And the wife coming back, okay, sure. And not matching it. So then Tori knows to bring it down. And she said, you know, it was really nice speaking with you, Mrs. Jones. I'd like to reach out to your husband and introduce myself. Where might I meet him? Check with his pregnant girlfriend. Click. Now, that's not a good script, is it, that you fall into? So this pass the baton takes 2 minutes and 46 seconds for an agent to answer questions to the assistant, Or if you're a high analytical agent, you'll take the time to fill out the blanks and check them off. Either way is fine. Set your assistant up for success. So thank you for that. Yes, you'll get an email recording of this link. Again, when you look at these systems and you had not a 10 or on a scale of 1 to 10, you're not a 10 plus or a 12, then this course will probably be the right course for you to make that investment. It's $199 a month, $100 off the first if you use Web 100. Okay, where do we sign up for Priya? Look at your screen right there. Thanks for asking. mapscoaching.com/group. And Priya stands for Perfect Real Estate Assistant, because that's what we all need to build the systems that are duplicatable and scalable. Remember, the systems I give you and what I've learned, people who do 2,000 transactions are using these systems. People who do 20 transactions are using these systems because they're duplicatable and scalable. You've got to have the basic foundational pieces. We have 25 to 30% of the class are agents who want the systems. They're not ready to hire the assistant yet, and that's fine. They come to the class. The calls are recorded. You can go back and listen to them. They're live, but I do them, then they're recorded. And then 2 months after the class, they're also there for you in all the materials. So you'll get a 450-page manual, and you will absolutely get 18 hours of the best foundational training that you can get in the country. This is the best. I've either written it or I've stole it from the best agents and tweaked it up. It's all the stuff that works. There's no, I think this should work. Try it out. No, it works. It works. All right. What else? Any other questions there, Stephanie?
What is your home inspection checklist, and is it for the buyer or the seller?
The home inspection checklist is for the seller to get the home ready for the home inspection, like making sure that they've got access to the attic, or there's access to the electrical boxes and panels, and where's this and where's that. All of that's laid out so that it can go pretty quickly. So that, of course, is in the program. And more importantly, I think the question is how do you set your seller up for success? How do you set your buyer up for success? So we have a buyer package we go through. We have a pre-list package we go through. And then there's all of these different checklists that we use so that the seller knows that we're on top of it. And they absolutely, at the end of the transaction, when they're closed, they go, they were worth it. They were on top of it. So how do you present that Disneyland, that Ritz-Carlton service? It's about the experience. Some of you have great service. It's about the experience and how to create that. So I go through a whole thing with client appreciation parties and how that doesn't cost you any money. I know RESPA, so we go through a whole bunch of stuff like that. What else, Steph? Any questions there that I should answer?
Okay, so yes, Lori wants to know, what if I am not ready for an assistant yet, but I could benefit from everything you mentioned? Do you suggest waiting or taking the class?
No, you should take the class now, because there's 25 to 35% are agents without assistants on that class. And I mean this kindly, because I was there too. If you don't have an assistant, you are doing that job too. So come to learn those efficiencies. You'll build a policy and procedures manual. When it's ready for you to hire someone, you will know exactly what you need. And I give you a whole hiring process, complements career visioning. I give you the job description, the 30, 60, 90, the schedule. Can you imagine when you go to hire that first person that you have a book of business and you have all that laid out? It's absolutely terrific. Okay, so the course is $199 a month. It's 6 months. You can have $100 off if you look at that screen there and put Web 100. How much detail do you cover marketing lead gen? Lead gen, very high. Marketing, we go through a plan, suggested emails, videos, etc. I don't go deep into saying, oh, we're going to do a whole hour in marketing. I don't do that. But I give you suggestions and where to set things up in command and things like that very briefly. But you'll get a schedule of what you could do and what you should be doing. Okay. Let's see. Can I train 2 assistants off a single enrollment? Yes, you may, Rob. We'll only give you 1 link, so they'll probably have to watch the screen together in a conference room if that's okay with you. That's how we do it. Oh, thank you. All right. Someone said, I did the course with Monica. She's amazing. Good. I always like that. Who doesn't like to hear something good? Would this be appropriate for Meg agent who has not hired? Absolutely. You want to know the systems. You right now, you are the secret weapon. You are the assistant. So if anyone has a question real quick, you can come off mute. I'll be happy to answer it. Just there's a little mute thing at the left there. Anything else, Stephanie, that you see and I'm not seeing?
No, I think we're good. Some people are asking about the setup of the calls. The first one is for the agent.
Sure.
Second two are the assistant.
Yeah, let me go through that. So when you think about this investment, I guarantee you, you will be taken out of the learning curve and you will have so much information. The problem is for a lot of agents say, I can't implement all this, but now you have the reference manual. So we usually pick one or two things that you're going to work on as a homework assignment each week. So the first call is for agents. The second and third call each month is for the assistants only. I prefer if you have a team now that you are not on those calls so that I can speak freely to them. I put them on the screen, we talk to them, I call them out, I call their name and I talk to them. Sometimes they'll be intimidated or not say something that they might say if you weren't there. So now if you're just you're the agent without an assistant at this point, you'll of course be on all three calls. First agent call, second and third are the assistant calls. The material on the first call is not always the same on the second and third. So you as an agent would have to go disseminate that to your assistants. Now, I give you accountability systems so that your assistant is doing something and putting that manual together, and you're keeping a copy so that manual doesn't get legs and run off. I give you all those systems. All right, Steph, anything else?
Let's see, one more thing. So she's one of the agents says they took this course and it completely changed their entire business for the better by far.
Good, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So the KWID number is your market center number, and if you don't have one, you just put 0. If you get completely stuck, I will help you. It's Monica, MONICA at KW.com. Join that class. I guarantee you, this is my one thing. Even though I run maps and I'm the VP, this is my one thing. I have spoken to more assistants than anyone in the country. I started my journey in the early 90s writing books on assistants and team building. They're on Amazon. Don't buy them. They're old. You're going to get the new information, but we'll let all the other agents buy them. That's fine. So what I want you to hear is that my heart is in this. And if you have the systems, you can build $1 million plus business, because it's going to be the systems are going to be buildable and they're going to be duplicatable, and they only make sense. I'm not here to spend money and tons of marketing and things like that. I've never been a believer in that, but I do believe in certain things like the client appreciation party, knowing who your top 25 clients are, doing things for them. I believe in the videos because I see the results, and I will give you 25 suggestions of great little powerful 2-3 minute videos that you can do. There's so many great things that you can do to build an amazing business, and say to yourself, if your goal this year right now is, I want everyone to think about, if your goal is X, so write down the number of deals you want to do this year. So let's just say hypothetically you wrote down 50, cross through it, write down 100 now, cross through that, write down 200. What does that do? You've now expanded your thinking. If you can do 50, you can do 200. If you can do 50, you can do 100, 150, 200, because the systems and your perfect real estate assistant will build those scalable and duplicatable systems. Okay, so I hope to see you on the call. I hope you guys got some good information. Tell me something somebody learned today. Did you realize that maybe you're not a 10 in some of those systems, those 8 systems I shared? Were there some holes you need to work on? I see Cindy McCain is smiling. So Cindy, can you come off mute for 1 minute and we'll let everybody go? Did you realize you got a few holes you need to work on?
Tons of holes. I was thinking I had my MAPS coaching call tomorrow, and I was like, gosh, what are we going to talk about? I did all the stuff she asked me to do, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there is so much room for growth. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, just to plug this book again, The Millionaire Real Estate Assistant, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, not assistant. There is a chapter in here, and it is about the 9 habits of a millionaire real estate agent. And it starts on page 79 in there. And it's all the things that I totally believe in too. And Gary believes in it. And this is about You're putting the systems in place. You're taking the time to do it. And then it's scalable. And then you do the activities that create the wheels keep going. So the lead generation activities. And there's so many possibilities right now. I said to Gary today on a call, I said, this is the most amazing career being a real estate agent. There's no cul-de-sac of salary. You can make as much as you want. You can have the profit you can want. You can build a team. You don't have to build a team. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. And yet, if you build the systems and you think $1 million, it's easy to get there. So I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you so much. I look forward to teaching you on the class. And remember, I got the systems. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Come to the class. Look forward to seeing you guys October 13th. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Cindy. Okay, well,
Can you tell us the discount code again?
it's right there on the screen, Web 100.
Okay,
$100 off the first call.
I'm signing up right now.
And where do you put it, Monica? Because I tried to put it in the coupon code section and it didn't take it. It said invalid.
Angel, are you on?
Yes, I will get that updated right away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I want you guys to get that discount. So Angel's on it right away. So give her a couple minutes and she'll do it. Thanks for pointing that out. I so appreciate it. Any other quick questions?
Yeah, what time is the call?
Oh, Stephanie, do you know? Is it 12 o'clock?
Yes, the call is at 12 o'clock Central Time.
Is that Tuesday or Wednesday? It's Wednesday.
No, wait a minute. That's not right. The call is at 2 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock my time, which is Pacific time.
Well, okay. It's somewhere in there because Angel just put in it's 12 o'clock Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. But it'll be that day for sure. So just come to the call.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Angel's got it right.
Okay, you guys are going to get a recording. Go back and think this is the perfect time of year. You're going to be building your business plan. Is this where you need to look at? What systems do you need to work on immediately? Do only one. Don't do all 7 or 8 all at once. Just take one and work on that. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. If there's anything I can help you with, it's monica@kw.com. Okay, thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Go make some money. Go.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.